Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with the next Panda palette update. As you can see, I'm in a different location. I hope this setup is okay for now. It's just going to be 1 or 2 videos here, but I'm currently at my parents' house in Sweden, so I wanted to sit down and film. Also, if you can hear, I do have a cold, so I'm actually filming this very last minute. I'm filming this on the day it should go up, and it's also going to be the last day of my 1 video day for the rest of July. So moving on from August, I'm going to start posting around every other day or so again. But I'm here today, like I said, with my Panda palette update, and I'm going to jump into the progress. But before I do so, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you in the family. Let's jump into the video. So I only have 2 palettes with me today. Actually, I have these 2 right here, which are my gold palette, which are the Huda Beauty one, which is my main Panda palette, and my kind of Franken palette. So I'm going to talk about those 2 today, but the one that I don't have with me is my old Panda palette, which I'm still kind of working on, and that is the Next Tutorials and Beauty Bay palette, but I actually haven't used that at all since my last update, which is why I didn't bring it with me. So I'm just going to insert here the picture where it was last month so you can see the progress, but yeah, that is where this palette was last month, and it still is like that this month. So let me instead move into the other 2 palettes. Let's start with the Franken palette. So in here I do have my Frankens. So I created some Frankens from my Panda palette, which was again the Next Tutorials and Beauty Bay palette. So this right here is what this palette looked like last month. So I had 8 shades in here that I Frankened, and I'm going to talk through where I am with them today. But first of all, I'm going to show you the palette now. So this right here, where it is today. Again, I'm sorry if the lighting is a bit bad. Again, I don't have my tripod, nothing. I just had to sit up. That's why the angle might be different, and I'm probably sitting a bit further away as well. But this is the best angle I could get right now. So this is what the palette looks like today. Like I said, I will have the differences up here so you can see what it looks like. So let's go through each shade in order. So the first shade in the palette is the shade Mila and Plot Twist, which is this nice transition shade. I Frankened this to use as a transition, but I actually haven't used it at all this month, but I've been focused on a different shade in the palette, as you might be able to tell. And that is the next shade, which is the Mila and Basic Trut shade. This one is one that I wanted to finish this month, and as you can see in the pictures, I have done that. I'm really happy with that. It took me 11 additional uses to finish it up for a total of 21, which is really exciting. And again, that one is finished, so I do have 1 Franken out of this palette, this one here, which means I have 7 left to go. Then next to that we have the shade 5 AM and Plot Twist, and this one actually finished up last month, but I did Franken some additional product in here, and I've only used that shade once. I do use this shade as my eyebrow shade, but I've been working on a different one in my Deco Panning, which is my Omega eyeshadow from MAC. So I've been using that one instead, which is why I didn't get much use out of this shadow this past month, but I did use it once, and I'm hoping that I will pick that up quite a bit next month. Then moving on to the second row, we have the first shade, which is Mila and Blah, which is like a more yellowy tone shade. That one I haven't used either. I just haven't been feeling that shade. Then moving on, we have the shade Ew and Blah, which is this bright acidy green. And I actually did hit pan on this. I showed it there in the middle. I don't know how well you can pick that up, but I'm hoping you can see it right there. I used this one additional 2 times for a total of 8, and I haven't used it since. So 8 uses on that one so far in the project, and I did hit that pan after those 8 uses. Then moving on, we have the shade Ew and Mila, which is this green right here. I already had pan on it last month, but I did use this one 2 times as well. I used these 2 greens together when I did use them. So for the last row, we have these 2 shades here, which I didn't use either. I just haven't been feeling purples at all, so those 2 haven't been touched. So not too much use on this one, but I did finish the shade up, which is really good. And I think next month I'm going to try to focus on getting some more use out of this shade here to hopefully hit pan on it again. And I'm going to try to continue using the greens and maybe a bit more of that yellow. So that is where I am with this palette. Lastly, for Frankens, we have my Franken bronzer right here. This product I made out of Mila, 5 AM and Basic Trut. And this is what it looked like last month. I had used this 30 times in the project at that point. And since then I have used it 15 additional times. And this is where it is today. So I'm not quite done with it, but it's getting a bit lower. I definitely think this will be done next month. I'm going to have that as a goal as well for this upcoming month of August to finish this one up. I reckon it's going to take maybe like 10-15 uses to finish it up, so we'll see how it goes, but those are all the Frankens. So next, let's move on to my new main Panda palette, which is the Gold Obsessions from Huda Beauty. This one here, I rolled in last month as my new Panda palette, and I've been using it since then. So I'm going to insert here the picture again of where it was last month. And yeah, I'm just going to show you that for a second, and then here is where this palette is today. So again, I hope the lighting and stuff still shows the progress, but let's go through each shade in order. So first up, these don't have names by the way, so I just kind of call them what they look like. So first up we have the pink gold shade, which is a shade that I used, one of them, I think I used this one the most out of all of them. I really like this one on my lids and on my inner corner. I'm actually wearing this one on my lids today. I don't know how well you can pick it up with this lighting, like I said, but I am wearing this one today. And I did actually pan on this one today as well. It took me 7 uses to pan on it, and again that happened today, so I'm really excited about that. And I have my first pan in this palette from this project. I already had pan on this kind of yellowy gold before, but that is my first new pan in this palette. Then next to that we have the kind of blending shade, and this one I used twice, so not too much, but I did use it. And then we have the third shade, which I call Taupe Shimmer, and this one I've used 3 times. I didn't really like the shadow that much to start, but I found a way to use it. I actually used it for like the last couple of days on my lower lash line. I'm not wearing it like that today, but I did use it on my lower lash line a bit. And I really fell in love with it that way, so I'm going to hopefully continue using it that way and hit pan on it maybe next month. So that is one I'm going to focus on for next month. Then for the second row we have this deep brown. This one I used 6 times in the past month. Yeah, it's an easy shade to incorporate, but I haven't been going for very deep looks, so I only used it 6 times. For the center shade in the palette we have this kind of green gold shade, and this one I only used twice. Again, not too much, but I did use it. Then, excitingly, next up we have the mauve shade, which is more of the regular transition shade, and it's this one here. And I don't know if you can pick it up, but I do have the smallest of babyest pan in here, and I actually pan on that one today as well. It took me 5 uses to pan on this one too, so I got the 2 pans in this palette today, the 2 new pans, which is very exciting. This one is so small to see. I can see it, but it's very hard to see. I'm hoping you can see it in the pictures, but I'm using this one in my crease today. So that's another shade. Today I'm using the first shade, like I said. I'm using that blending out shade, the deep brown, and this mauve. Those are the shades that I'm using today, so I've covered those already, the ones that I'm wearing. Then for the last row we have the kind of taupey champagne shade, which is this one down here. I used that one once, so not too much. And the other 2 shades, which are the kind of sand champagne, that's what I call it, and the yellow gold, I used 2 times each. So I've gotten some good use on this palette. You can hopefully see the dips in this palette, but I definitely could get more use out of it. But I'm happy with it as a start. I wanted to use this month to just play around with it. And I could for sure have used this more, but I always forget that summer is always worse for me for panning. I don't use things as quickly. So yeah, I am happy where I am, but I'm hoping to use it more next month. So for next month, I do have quite a lot to go with this palette, because I roll this one in at the half point of the year, and I do want to get as much use of it as I can, and I hopefully want to finish up at least most of the shades. So because of that, I have decided to put a really hefty goal for the month of August, and that is to use this palette in every single look that I make. Even if I use one shade, I can use like the deepening up shade, or I can use one of the shimmers. I can use like this one as an inner corner highlight. You know, if I use any shade in here, that's fine, but I want to use this eyeshadow palette in every look that I make in the month of August. That is going to be my main goal. That's probably going to be quite hard, but I just want to get into the routine of using this one. It's just one that I feel like I do love using this one, and every time I used it I really liked the looks or the shades that I used from it. But since I was on a bit of a rut when it comes to my Panda palette when I rolled this one in, I feel like I didn't use it as much this month as I should have. So that's why I'm putting that goal in. I want to use this one every single look that I make, so it's definitely going to affect my numbers. I'm hopefully going to have a lot of higher numbers in here next month. And on top of that, I also ideally want to hit 3 pans. We'll see how I go, but I think I should be able to do that. The pans in here are actually really shallow, so I'm hoping I can hit 3 pans. The ones I'm going to focus on for sure is this shade here, the center shade, which is like greeny gold. So those 2 are definitely ones that I'm going to focus on. And then potentially like the blending out shade, which is here on top, or the deep brown. I think one of those two I'm going to hit pan on as well. So we'll see, but I'm going to try to hit 3 pans in this palette and obviously try to continue expanding the rest of the shades. That is where I'm with this one. I'm hopefully going to have a lot higher numbers next month, but that is that palette. And also for these here, I have already covered the goals a little bit. I want to finish off the bronzer, so hopefully that's going to be done. And then for the eyeshadows in here, I do want to re-hit pan on that kind of the new Franken of that taupey brown. And then I do also want to use the greens and the yellow a little bit more, so this row here. Maybe I can even try to hit pan on that yellow, but we'll see. I'm not going to set a specific goal for that because I have quite high goals as this. But I do want to continue using them and try to get use out of them now in summer before we get into too much of autumn. I mean, I guess the greens are quite autumnal as well, but I just want to start using them because ideally I want to use up all of the shades in here this year. So that, you guys, is it for this update. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope this setup was okay. Again, it's not going to be a regular thing. I just had to find a place to film in my parents' house, and again, I don't have my lighting with me, so I hope this works. But I hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are. So the video cut out, but I will catch you guys in my next one. Bye!